Hey, welcome to The Explainer. Today we're going to talk about something that can literally reshape your brain, give your mood a serious boost, and pull you right out of a rut. And what is it? It's the surprising, scientifically proven power of just trying new things. So, let me ask you something. Does your life ever feel like it's just on autopilot? I mean, you wake up, you take the same route to work, you do your job, you eat kind of the same things, watch the same shows, and then boom, you do it all over again the next day. Yeah, if you're nodding your head right now, you are so not alone. There's actually a name for this. It's called the comfort trap. See, our brains are basically wired for efficiency. They love routines because they create these little shortcuts to save energy. It's a survival thing, really, but it can also leave us feeling, kind of stagnant. Right, so let's dig into this idea of the comfort trap. Imagine your life is a path. You're walking in a forest. Every day you take that same path, and over time, it gets worn down into this deep, comfy groove. It feels safe, right? It's predictable. But the problem is, the walls of that groove can get so high that you totally forget there's this huge, amazing forest out there waiting to be explored. And that's the big question, isn't it? What actually happens? I mean, down to a biological level, when you decide, you know what, I'm going to step off this path. When you peek over the edge of that rut and try something totally new. Well, the answer is, it's pretty incredible. So what exactly is that spark you feel when you break your routine? This is where we get into the cool science of it all. What happens inside your brain when it experiences novelty? And listen, this is way more than just a fleeting feeling. We're talking about actively changing your brain for the better. Okay, the big word here is neuroplasticity. And yeah, it sounds complicated, but the idea behind it is actually beautiful. It just means your brain isn't fixed in stone. When you learn something new, anything, visiting a new place, listening to a new genre of music, you're forcing your brain to build brand new connections. It is literally like taking your brain to the gym. It's a workout. And it gets even better. Doing new things basically flips a switch in your brain's reward system. When you do something you haven't done before, your brain gives you this little hit of dopamine. And that's the feel-good chemical, right? It's linked to motivation, to focus, to pleasure. It's your brain's way of shouting, hey, pay attention, this is good stuff, let's do this again. And you can really see the difference here. Look, the brain's response to a routine activity, it's fine. It's stable, but it's pretty low. Now, compare that to what happens when you have a new experience. Whoa, that massive spike, that's the dopamine rush we're talking about. That's the science behind that feeling of excitement and engagement. Okay, so the science is clear, right? A life full of new experiences is amazing for your brain. But let's get real for a second. The whole idea of trying new things can feel, overwhelming. Like it's just one more giant thing on your to-do list. It sounds like it has to be this big, expensive, time-sucking project, but it absolutely doesn't have to be that way. So how do you actually do it? This is where we get practical and focus on starting small. Look, this is not about climbing a mountain. It's not about quitting your job to go backpack across Europe. It's just about taking one new step. It's about finding ways to inject these little manageable doses of newness into the life you already have. And here's a super simple 3-step guide to make it easy. First, lower the stakes. Seriously, don't start with, I'm going to learn the violin. No, start with, I'm going to watch a 5-minute video on how violins are made. See the difference? Second, just pick something you're curious about. That weird bird you always hear, or that type of cuisine you've never tasted. And third, and this one is so important, you have to actually schedule it. Put 15 minutes in your calendar. If you treat it like a real appointment, you'll actually do it. But even with the best plan in the world, there's this one huge hurdle that stops almost all of us. And you know what it is? It's that little voice in your head that whispers, but what if I'm terrible at this? It's that fear of looking stupid, of being awkward, of not being a pro from the second you start. Getting past that fear, that takes a real mindset shift. And that brings us to our final big idea, embracing imperfection. It's all about changing the way you think about being a beginner. Because, being new at something isn't a weakness at all. It's actually a kind of freedom. And this really gets to the heart of it, right? The battle between expectation and reality. The expectation is, I have to be amazing at this right away. which is, let's be honest, just setting yourself up for failure. The reality, the beginner's mindset is, I am absolutely going to be awkward, and that is 100% okay. The moment you give yourself that permission, all the pressure just vanishes. It really just comes down to shifting your focus. And this quote says it all, doesn't it? The goal is not to be perfect by the end. The goal is to be better tomorrow. It's not about mastering something in a day. It's about the process. It's about being just a tiny bit different, a tiny bit more knowledgeable than you were yesterday. So if there's one thing to take away from all of this, it's this. All those amazing benefits, the dopamine hit, the brain-building neuroplasticity, the simple joy of it, they don't come from getting it right. They don't come from succeeding. They come from the act of trying. The triumph really is in the trying. So I'm going to leave you with a question, just something to chew on. Forget about being perfect. Forget about mastering anything. What is one small, super low-stakes thing you could do tomorrow, just for the sake of trying? Just for that simple, powerful, brain-changing experience?